Hello and welcome to another edition of the One Team We Agree On. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Kyle. How are you doing today?
I'm feeling fantastic. You know why, Kyle?
Because Eagles won.
Yeah, because we just got done watching the Eagles win. Woo.
Yeah, no, I mean, Eagles are playing good football, unlike the Dolphins.
So I hope everyone had a really nice Thanksgiving. I know I'm thankful for Saquon Barkley and Matvey Michkov and for you.
I'm happy for you as well, and we're happy that you all are tuning in again, and thank you. On today's episode, we have some fun stuff to discuss today.
We do.
It is our preseason prediction recap,
Hmm.
which, yeah, probably won't go as well as we had planned back in January. But also, we're going to discuss the union drop the roster decisions
Hmm.
for 2025. And also, Ernst had his press conference,
Yes.
season-ending press conference this past week. But yeah, so before we get into it, what are we wearing?
So I am wearing this Eagles Conference Champions 2022 shirt. I was wearing that today. I got it like dirt cheap after the fact at like Rally House
Hmm.
like in 2023. So yeah. So go Birds.
Go Birds. And also, yes, I did say go Birds
Yes, you did. Yeah.
because yeah, I mean, go Birds right now because Dolphins are bad. Um,
Hmm.
Also I'm wearing my Dupe shirt, my JSP Union shirt with Dupe
Yeah.
on the back.
You can't go wrong with that.
Love it. One of the most comfortable shirts I've ever worn. But where can people find us?
So we are on Facebook and Instagram at the One Team We Agree On. You can find us on Twitter at TOTWAG, and you can find us on Blue Sky at TOTWAG, and then the rest of whatever
Yeah.
is on that. Um, and you can find me on there as well. Kyle's kind of on there, not really. And I'm on Twitter at silly double underscore Jilly, and Kyle's at Coach Almany. You can also find us on YouTube, and we are on there at the One Team We Agree On. And check out our website, theoneteamweagreeon.com. Find us wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, and we got some articles we gotta get working on.
Yes.
I know we both have stuff we're working on. It's been a crazy time of the year with the holidays and swim
Yeah.
meets.
Hmm.
So anyway, let's talk about the roster decisions that were released earlier this week. But before we do, I want to give a shout out to Matt Real,
Yeah.
winning USSL championship final and winning US Cup with Colorado Springs Switchbacks. And we
Yeah.
had Matt on the show.
Back in like June, I think.
Yeah. And I know Jose had an interview with him before the championship match. So
Hmm.
make sure you check those out if you haven't. And just really happy for him.
Yeah. First of all, like I was watching that. We were at a swim meet when that was going on. We were keeping tabs on that and just, really happy for Matt. He's a good guy and we enjoyed having him on the podcast. And so it was great to see him, win it all there. And it seems like that loan really worked out for him. So, congrats, Matt.
Yeah, congrats. And, I think in the future, probably going to end up in USL somewhere
Hmm.
else. Um, Maybe hopefully he seems really happy at
Hmm.
Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll be keeping a track on that and we'll let you know where he ends up. And also there was an extension.
Hmm.
Would you like to announce it? There was a contract extension on a certain right back.
On Olivier Bizo.
Yeah, how you feel
Who
about that?
saw that one coming though?
I mean, realistically, what are you going to do if you move Harriel and you move off of him? Who's your right back?
So I was just surprised, we went from him having those issues like wanting to be released because of his family issues,
Right.
and we haven't I assume those got worked out.
Yeah.
Um, but like with I'm just surprised they, extended him when, you do have options like now Frankie's not is seasoned, but
And this is no insult to Frankie, but I mean, he's still got ways to
he
go.
does. And I think he's really on the right track. He's doing
No,
great.
100%.
But, I think the thinking here is, of course, Bizo has, when he's good, he's really good. But unfortunately, when he's bad, he's really bad.
Right.
you know?
And again, like you hope that Frankie continues to grow and develop
Yeah.
with you too, make some appearances
Hmm.
in 2025 with the first squad, potentially. Maybe an Open Cup appearance or, maybe some minutes late in the game.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you move on from Harriel or, you know, international windows. You're gonna need somebody, and I guess thinking is you're going to kind of keep it Biza because again, like you said, when he's good, he's good. But I mean, it just every time you think he's going to turn that corner, he doesn't.
Like he'll be playing great and then all of a sudden there'll be some blunder. He gets cooked, you know?
Yeah, and multiple times a game, several times a game.
Hmm.
And I always go back to what Evan said to me. He goes, the problem with Bizo is when he gets beat, it always leads to like the worst possible scenario.
2021 Eastern
Well,
Conference Final,
2022,
2022, you know?
several times
Hmm.
this year. I mean, it is what it is. But hey, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm actually okay with the move.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a situation where you'd like to upgrade that position. Now, I know Ernst says they're under contract restrictions, but I mean, one has to wonder, could you have done a little bit better than bringing him back?
I mean, yeah, I think so. It would be
It's
good to go
it's
out
an
and see what
honest
there is.
question to say. Now, again, hey, congratulations to him.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd love to see it, but same time, you kind of will question that move a little bit.
I was just a little bit like, huh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Okay. So, yeah.
Anyway, so with roster decisions, options decline. Jameer Berdesio,
Yeah, speaking of sometimes getting cooked.
yeah. Although he
But he's
has,
also, still pretty young and finding his way. But yeah, there were times he got cooked, but he did okay. But you know, he kind of lost his job to Gavin Wetzel though, like late in the season
I
in U
mean,
two.
yeah. Let's be honest. I mean, if
When you're
anything,
a first team signing
yeah.
and
I just
you
I
lose
feel
your
bad
spot to an
for him
amateur.
because he came over here,
Hmm.
chance to restart his career. He
Yeah.
had one national team call up while he was
Seems like a
here.
good kid.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see him develop a little bit
Yeah.
more here. But I get it, so best of luck to him.
Hmm.
Brendan Craig, now the club is renegotiating,
They're
but
negotiating, but do you think this is going to go anywhere?
I mean, I know Jonathan Tambell discussed it with Ernst and they're in negotiations, but let's be honest, that loan to Austin failed.
Yeah.
Then he goes to USL and that doesn't go well. Now
Yeah.
they had a coaching change, but at the same time, you feel for him. The kid
Yeah.
just can't even really make it in USL.
Yeah, like in his like age level, he was good, with
Yeah,
the youth national team and everything. But and with how the roster stands, there is a need at center back for sure. So,
the question is though, why can't he crack that roster when we need center backs?
yeah.
That's the real question. So
Yeah.
we'll see. A lot more questions right now this time this year than there was
Hmm.
last year.
Jack
Although
Elliott.
Jack Elliott, I mean, again, they're renegotiating, but we'll get that in a second. Matt Real,
Hmm.
Ernst talked about that.
Yeah.
He sounds like both parties kind of just said it was best they moved on.
Yeah, this one came as no surprise.
Yeah, Joaquin Torres again came as no surprise.
Yeah. Best of
I mean,
luck to him.
yeah, I mean that's unfortunate.
Hmm.
Um, Leon Flock sounds like his time
Yeah, I
is
saw that one coming. I had a great view of him on the field at the end of the last game of the season.
yeah.
And the way he reacted, and I saw him just kind of walking and just like he just kind of stood there like emotional and stuff. And that's when I knew I'm like, yeah, I think he's probably gone.
And Ernst talked about it. He said, "Look, there's a situation. He wants to go back home." So
Yeah.
we'll see where he ends up. I always was a big fan of his.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What he brought defensively to the midfield. You know, you can say what you want to say about his offensive capabilities, but hey, 2022, he scores that goal
Hmm.
on deflection, probably the best ball he ever hit in his life. Union beat Cincinnati, and they're rolling on. I
Yeah.
mean, there were times where he flashed things.
Yeah, I think defensively he was really good. And yeah, he didn't give you the offense really, but he he does a lot of stuff that people who don't that are just more casual followers, I think don't appreciate. Even like admittedly, I am not as well versed in the technical stuff,
Right.
but even I recognize, that he really brought a lot there in
And
the
I'll even
midfield.
say something crazy. I thought this year he offensively, while he had his moments where you would see the team not really passing to him because he
Hmm.
just really couldn't generate anything, I thought at times this year he looked a little bit more confident
Hmm.
moving forward with the ball at times.
Yeah.
There was a growth and improvement there,
Hmm.
but I get the move. I mean, I would love to seen him stick around, but I get it.
Yeah, and he battled back from a long injury. Like that recovery from the injury, that was definitely tough. It was great to see him make a comeback and, you know, play at a high level. And honestly, Leon just any interaction I had with him and like from what I saw, I mean he was he's a really good guy.
Mhm.
Um he interacts with the fans really well, and also I liked that he did that soccer camp with Kai and Oliver that
I
they
think
raised
that was
money.
great.
So, he was giving back to the community and everything. So, from everything we saw, Leon's a stand-up guy, and I do hope he finds success as he goes back to Europe.
Yeah, same here. And saying Deneron's moving on, so
Yeah, no surprise there.
no surprise there.
Got 0 goals for the Union.
Yeah, I mean, you hoped it was a low risk.
It was low risk. We knew either he was, he could come make a bit of an impact and maybe he gets re-signed, or well, it's a short, you know,
Loan,
deal there.
and it really didn't pan out for him. But again, maybe he seemed to have success in USL, so maybe heads there.
Hmm.
But anyway, Ernst did talk about the Jack Elliott
Hmm.
and Aunt Alejandro Bedoya. So we'll hear this. I'm gonna play this clip here. Come on, if it loads.
Uh-oh.
We got an error here. All right, let's try again here. Let's rephrase that. It was playing earlier.
Yeah, well,
There we
we
go.
want to have Ale back for at least. With Jack, it's a little bit different as he, yeah, turned down an offer which was really respective and looking for more money, and that's what we cannot do. Just in regards of roster flexibility. I mean, we see Ali as a very important player in regards of the locker room and the history with the club he is having, and that's why we are trying to do everything to bring him back for that's the reason. But at the same time, we also have to watch our roster space, and every player you bring back. Who is in the senior side is limiting you down on the other hand, and that's what we need to obey, and hopefully we can find a way to come together. Yeah, well,
Oh,
we want to have
anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So, first of all, how Ale, um, it wasn't something we were sure he would be back this past season.
No,
And of course, it seemed that with Jim being fired and everything, that, oh, the chances of Ale coming back maybe weren't as good. But I I really think that, hey, if you can re-sign Ale for another year and he's doing his role at the front office and
which,
he's
er,
coming more cheaply, why
which,
not?
which Ernst was very complimentary on his job on later questionnaire. My question is this. Given his age, now, granted, remember that comment he said how many
They
games
won more games
he
when he
started.
started.
All right. Well, okay, Ali.
Okay, Allie. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, I give you credit for that.
props. And hey, and as someone who is around your age, like I will give you props all day long for what you do, Allie, because I just like turn a wrong way and hurt my back or something. So, um,
I mean, I give him props,
yeah.
but at the same time, if that means, and I think Jose brought up when him and Todd were
Hmm.
talking, go check that if you haven't checked that episode of Free Kick out. What is it, 400, 500K he made last year? If you go get somebody, a young player off the market, U22,
Hmm.
do you make that move? I love Allie. I would love that leadership.
Hmm.
Ernst talked about leadership at one point in the press conference.
Yeah.
Um, but does it make sense to do that? Um,
Hmm.
because now, if it's just again 20, 15, 20 minutes off the bench here and there when you need to close out a game, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But is it, like Ernst said, occupying a spot where you could improve the team with a younger player that
But
may.
will he? Will Lawrence do that?
But will he do that? I don't know. And as for Jack, again, love Jack.
Yeah.
Love the interactions, questions I've had with him.
Yeah, Jack is great, honestly. Like he is a great person from all the interactions I've had with him and he does give his all, but let's be real, he's been on the decline too.
Well, not only that, I mean, I get it. You only
Yeah.
have one career.
Yeah.
So if he wants the money, he's had a successful career as a center
Hmm.
back in the MLS. I mean,
He has.
he was,
Um,
defensive player of the midseason, and I still think he was the better of the two when Jacob Glessens won it.
this close to being MVP of the MLS Cup. This
Yeah, I
close.
mean, scores that goal. I
Hmm.
mean, these are career highlights, and as we always like to joke, Gareth Bale's soul is soul, and he was never the same player. But he shows those moments.
Yeah.
And again, if I had to choose between Jacob Glessens and Jack Elliott, I don't know. I
I
mean,
mean, Jacob Lessness has been on the decline too.
right. So,
And own goals aside.
I mean, I want to ask you guys out there, who would you rather have? Would you have Jack Elliott or Jacob Glessens? Because I don't know what the answer is there. Honestly, if
Yeah.
I was in Ernst's position, I'd try to get two new center backs, but that's just me.
Yeah, it's tough because, yeah, you have that sentimentality like uh those two have been with the team for a long time
Right.
and they've been so good in the back, but hey, you know,
Now look,
time is cruel and
and you
honestly,
look at the amount of minutes they played, the injuries
uh-huh.
piled up. I mean,
The defense just allowed way too many goals and it wasn't just on the goalkeeper last year.
it really wasn't. But if you could get a good deal to get Jack back,
Hmm.
and maybe somebody makes a move for like Jacob, and you bring in another piece. I mean, we'll see. But I just think again, if we're gonna run it back, it almost sounds like, oh, well, we're bringing these pieces back. Are you gonna run it back a fourth time with maybe a move here and there?
Saw how that worked.
Yeah, like we did last year, and he's like defending, oh, we got to do a roster overload. Well, we'll see what happens when the window. You know,
Hmm.
as they said, a couple, you expect them to be active. You hope they're going to be active,
Now,
and
yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, question to you, Kyle.
But
Do you would you put Neil Pierre up there yet?
I we saw the breaking news about the
Hmm.
source. That maybe in January he's going to sign homegrown.
Hmm.
I would put him probably ahead of Macania for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing,
I
like,
give him some starting
hmm,
opportunities. I'd rotate the heck out of that back line. I'd still like to bring another piece in, even if you bring back Jack at a discounted price.
yeah.
I'd still bring in another piece to rotate
Hmm.
and then try to move off of either Jacob or Jack eventually because I just feel like we've done this for so long.
Yeah.
And the definition of insanity, as we said a million times, is running it back. And
Yeah.
look, let's get some fresh blood at that center back position. Let's get some new pieces in the midfield, and that's gonna bring us to our next topic. And that's Ernst Terrence press conference. So let's talk about the head coaching update. So
Yeah. So, I mean, nothing as of now, but it's in the works.
Sounds like it is. So he did bring this up. Well, Chris, just over here. So here's what I had to say.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. If we do another under 22
Oh,
player,
what?
then it will very
Sorry. So actually, let's go back a second. So he's talking about the homegrowns in U22 because that's a
Yeah.
big thing too, and we'll get to the head coach in a
Right. They're going
second.
for the U22 initiative.
Yeah. So Jose asked about that, and where you could see maybe somebody. So here's what Ernst had to say. We'll go back to that in a second here.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. If we do another under 22 player, then it will very likely be in midfield. Um, but you can also consider our homegrown players coming up as sort of under 22 players. I mean, we have prolonged the contract with Quinn Sullivan, who was probably one of our best midfielders during the last season, and he signed recently for, let's say, under 22 conditions. And we all know about the positives of that initiative in regards of the CSP charge. So we likely will use that wherever we can, but midfield certainly is a priority.
Which, you love to hear that for sure, because I mean, with the, Joaquin
Hmm.
Torres, Leon Flock out,
You need some midfield.
Burrow's gone. I mean, we're gonna need some midfield help.
And you saw like Miami used the U22 initiative really well,
Right,
you know,
and other teams
and
have
other
as well.
teams as well. So it would be nice to see the Union do more than just using it on Macania, for instance, who still hasn't seen the field for the first team, which also got me wondering too, like you bring in a new coach, do you think that new coach maybe gives Macania a chance?
He might get a chance, but do you really feel confident that he's going to um, grasp that chance?
Um, Here's the thing. I mean, we saw Macania play a lot with Union
Yeah,
too. And he did okay. Um, I think Neil Pierre was the stronger of the two
for
there.
sure.
I'd actually personally rather see Neil get a shot, but um Neil's still only 17. So I would like to see someone with some experience brought in at center back.
Yeah, but I also think, they're probably going to get some midfield depth. I mean, you got Danley, but
Yeah, midfield definitely there's a need for sure. Now, who do you think? You know, do you think any of the Union 2 midfielders are ready? Do you think CJ's ready? You
I
think
mean, I think
Vasquez is ready?
David and I think CJ you're going to see some minutes from next year.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not saying a
And then there's
ton.
Cavan, of
I
course.
mean, Kevin probably will get some more run. I would expect him almost next year to be kind of plug and play
Hmm.
coming off the bench, maybe unless they upgrade there, who knows? But and I'd like to see David Vasquez get some more run.
I do
The
too.
other the other thing is, and I'll bring this up when we get into our predictions. I mean, what are we gonna do with Jesus Bueno? I mean, the guy when he plays and he starts, he scores goals. He's had three
Yeah.
goals this year in league play, and consider the amount of times he started. I mean, he's been fine.
I was confused like why he wasn't getting playing time.
I mean, you still have him there hanging around. So, what do you do with him? I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. I'd like to see him. More importantly, I'd like to see him get some more playing
I
time.
want to see him have a bigger role for sure. Like I
Yeah.
really like what he brings to the game. So,
I
yeah.
mean, but we'll see. I mean, I feel like I feel bad for the kid. I feel like he's snake bitten half of the time.
Yeah.
So, anyway, moving on. I want to bring up our next thing. I think this is about the head coaches. I hope.
Let's hope.
Yeah, well, we have, or I have my final 10 together. We did a lot of work during the last couple of weeks in regards of that. We will submit it this week to the league, and then we will go through the formal process. But I will also ask the league how much sense that makes with the formal process. If I hear that other clubs are out of a sudden signing coaches within 2 weeks or 10 days, that's a little bit astonishing to everybody who is going through the diversity hiring process and puts a lot of work in. And yeah, and then you hear decisions like that. And so I will definitely ask why that is the case, and because we could potentially announce somebody pretty soon.
So I'm curious, was that shot at Inter Miami
Hmm.
just announcing that hire so quickly?
Yeah, that was pretty quick. I know they have protocol they have to follow and everything.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, it is interesting. I did find that little jab there when I heard it. I
Yeah.
was like, oh,
Yeah. So my thoughts, I still hate that Jim was fired, but it is what it is now at this point. Um, and then, where do we go from here? Who's gonna want the job of, having not as much to work with, um, spending wise?
yeah, and who's gonna want to fill the shoes of Jim?
It's gonna be tough.
It is gonna be tough because especially if you get off to a rocky start,
Mhm,
different player culture depending on who the coach is.
mhm.
Um, it could go south real quick, or it could go good. Again, like I said in our last episode, at this point now, it's on Ernst's hands. He's got to deliver that what he did. He felt justified doing what he did. He's got to show it. And I think it's going to be really, really tough times coming up.
Yeah,
But I also think we need to give whoever he hires a chance
absolutely.
to prove himself, but at the same time, just be like, look, you're replacing probably the most successful coach in union history.
Yeah, it's kind of like when the Eagles moved off of Doug Peterson. It's like you had good memories of Doug. They won Super Bowl with Doug. And then you bring in Nick Sirianni. He was unproven really at that point.
Right.
And some people still want Well, the vibes are good in Philly right now for the Eagles, but there was not too long ago people wanted to fire Nick Sirianni. But like, we brought him in like, who is this guy really? But give him a chance, and it's done some good things, and I have my moments with that. But right now he's a good coach towards his players, I think.
Hmm.
Um, but like what I'm getting at here is it's it's tough sometimes when you have someone who has done some really great things with the team.
Yeah.
And so then you get a new coach in and it's like, okay, what's this guy about? But um it'll be interesting. I'm definitely I'm hoping it's a coach who is as good with the media as Jim was.
Right.
I really enjoyed talking to Jim, but you know, do you think that Marlin is a candidate?
Honestly, and I don't know anything.
We don't know anything.
I don't think so. I think either I don't know where he goes, but
Hmm.
I think he lands somewhere else at this point. Again, I don't know anything,
Mm-mm.
but I think Ernst gets one of his guys that he wants.
Mhm.
Um,
Think you get some like German guy that we've never heard of.
I don't know. I would say either that. I mean, like he said, he wants to go in, somebody knows the diamond, somebody has MLS experience. So
Hey, if you get someone German, I can speak German. Be like,
but
you know.
I think
Mhm.
we'll find out, how
Mhm.
long this process takes, who the new coach is. I mean, we'll be covering that presser when they announce it.
Yeah.
Especially if it's during the week. I got,
Please don't be when I have things to do at school.
well, I mean,
Probably would be.
we'll we'll
Yeah.
we'll figure something out. But no, I am curious how soon that is, and who they hire. I
You'd think
mean,
you'd want to get them in there soon because
right,
this
because
off season's so short.
off season's so short. I mean, we got the MLS Cup
Hmm.
coming up this weekend, and we got the Super Draft, we got the expansion draft for San Diego. We have free agency starts, and then we
Hmm.
have the window opens up in January. So it's not a lot of time. So you gotta get who you need to get. So hopefully we hear something soon about that. But
Let's talk about who we definitely would not want to see in that coaching role and who we would be like, okay, let's give him a shot. Because there's been a lot of upheaval in MLS with
oh
the
yeah,
coaches lately.
what is
Let's talk
it?
about that
12 now?
a lot. Yeah.
Uh, John Herdman.
No.
No.
Nope. Nope.
No, we're
Nope.
not doing it. We're not having drone scandals.
Nope.
allegedly drone
That's
scandals.
a big old nope.
No,
Danny Sartini, though?
I mean, sure, why not? I mean,
I'd entertain the idea.
sure, why not? I mean, at least he'd be fun to
He'd be
interview.
fun to interview, yes.
He would. Let's see who else. Well, we got Nick Cushing, but he's probably going back to England. And I'll tell you, I mean, oh, what's his name? I mean, who? Let's see what Seattle and Orlando do now they're
hmm
both out.
hmm
But there's a couple other names I would like to see. There's been some names floated out there we see on social media, people in the union community, but again, I don't know.
Yeah.
I who else? Anybody else you would like?
Um, Honestly, I don't know at this point.
I mean, at this point, my gut just says it's gonna be somebody that knows the Red Bull system.
Yeah. And as has been pointed out by people that we know,
Yeah.
if Red Bull's going to win,
It just justifies Ernst stand,
hmm
even though you have Emil Forsberg,
Yeah, they
who
do sign big players, though.
they
That's the
signed
thing.
big players. They signed what's his name? Oh my gosh, now I gotta go look this up. They
Right.
signed that one guy that was what was it? Was it's not Cameroon, but that big international striker
Mm.
that now he's 35, but look at
So,
that striker.
yeah. And by the way, on that note, the MLS Cup, Red Bulls,
I actually am kind of excited for this match.
that should be a great game,
We'll
honestly.
talk about it at the end of the show.
At least we know we, beat Red Bull pretty,
I mean, yeah.
but we did not lose. Union did not lose to them this season, so um, I'm kind of pulling for Galaxy, but it's because I don't like Red Bull. But would I be mad if Corey Burke gets to get an MLS Cup win?
Nah.
I wouldn't be mad at that. Go Corey Burke. He actually got in the game, in the conference final.
You know, oh, there's a couple. I'm curious about that,
But
but
what a shame Ricky Pooch though is out. That
it is. But
towards ACL.
we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But last note,
hmm
topic on the press conference of note is striker depth. Outside Mikel and Ty,
hmm
who was going to come in and provide that third person off the bench, and Ernst brought this up when we're talking about this.
Yeah, that's what we are in fact looking at, and I mean it depends a little bit of what we're doing in our key priorities, in particular with our center back, and how much money is left for the purpose. And I can imagine that we are getting a real competitive third striker. What we are definitely looking out for is somebody who is a bit better in hold-up play. Um, and if we find the player, it doesn't matter how old he is. But we probably will do something here as well.
Is there promotion from the youth ranks to fill out the rest of it? Is Eddie Davis closer? I mean, he's the one who comes to mind, I suppose. But are there others who might get closer to the first team, and Nelson Pierre, I guess, in that category?
Yeah, well, we need to be fair to the young dudes, and yeah, Eddie is certainly a real good prospect, and as well as Salu Livas, and we will try to bring them up for training and see how far they are. Yeah, but I mean, it's in particular for a young player very difficult, yeah, to make it in the top two spots as a striker, and the physical um, resistance of opposition is something different in MLS in comparison to MLS Next Pro. That's what we all need to consider. And it takes usually a little bit longer until a striker arrives. And we all know that our boys are 18 years of age, and it would be unfair to consider them as a complete and valuable MLS striker right now. That's what we need to make out of them and develop them. Yeah, that's
Yeah, so I found that interesting
I did too.
because, on one hand, I think we all agreed that the Union is definitely missing a whole striker that can hold the ball up and then make run ball into like a run like McKell or Ty,
Hmm.
hold the ball up. And also, in that same sentence, he brings up Sal and Eddie Davis. I know
Yeah,
Jonathan asked that question, but at the same time, neither of them are hold up strikers.
they are not. We saw Eddie and Sal play a lot with covering Union too. And while I think they're great and they've got a lot of promise, they're not hold up strikers.
And
And
Ernst just said in that
mhm,
whole thing, the jump, he talked about when I asked the question, oh, they're MLS ready. Well, but then you just went in there and said, oh, but the jump in the striker level, and maybe that's the case. Maybe
mhm,
somebody like CJ and
mhm.
Neil, they're ready and it's different. I don't know, but I still think the jump from MLS Next Pro to MLS, like we've been
Oh,
saying,
Jim is always saying that.
yeah, and so he kind of admits it there, and then
Hmm.
he brings those people in. It was kind of a weird answer, if I'm
Hmm.
honest. But I mean, I would love to see those guys get a chance, but do they
Yeah.
make an impact? Probably not. And that's no shot to Sal and Eddie for sure because we love them, but
Yeah. They do a
they
heck of a job at the next pro
and,
level.
we'd
Yeah.
love to see them come in and make an impact, sure.
Yeah.
But I think for right now, for the time being, he needs to look at somebody that can be a hold-up striker. Not saying it's Corey Burke.
Hmm. But would I be opposed to bringing Corey Burke back?
I would. You wouldn't, but I would. We do need somebody
Yeah.
though. We need somebody else that can
But
stay
we need
healthy.
someone that's like Corey Burke in that role.
Yes, that can stay healthy.
Yes.
Um, and then allow that fourth striker to be a Chris Donovan or one like a Sal or an Eddie.
Speaking of Chris Donovan, like once Ty really, got his chance, we did not see Chris Donovan again, really.
And
Where
I mean,
where does he fit into all this?
I still think he gets loaned out.
I think that would make sense for him. He wasn't
He
even
needs
getting
to
to play.
play.
He needs to play.
I think
I
Chris
feel like
Don
he's like a USL player.
he is, and there's nothing wrong with
No,
that.
it's just that's where you're at. Just like
That's
Matt Riel. I think he's a USL player and he's fitting in great there. And
exactly. You can make a
yeah.
career there and make a good career
Hmm.
there. So anyway, enough about that. We'd love to hear your comments, what you
Hmm.
thought about the press
Give us your
conference.
thoughts.
But all right, let's wrap this episode up. We're gonna go over our predictions.
I'm
So,
always the eternal optimist, and I thought the Union would do better than they did.
so let's look
Hmm.
at these. All right, so we're pulling this up, folks. So this is our season predictions. It has the CONCACAF Champions Cup. We got Leagues Cup. We got a lot of stuff. We have some windows in there. That's what those colors are. But my season prediction was 52 points. And the Union finished with 37. Woo! Wow. And like the last couple of years, I was right around there. I was feeling good. And I
Yeah.
remember I called Todd before we did our preseason. I'm like, I got him at 48, and this feels really low, but I'm having a hard time with this. And he's like, I'm the same way.
Okay, to be fair though, you could not predict that Andre Blake would miss half the season,
No, no,
and
no.
that made a big impact on it. So,
It did, but I mean, we start off the season. We're going all the way through, Portland, Nashville. At Nashville, we get points. At Atlanta, we get a draw. And, going through April, their Union are the last undefeated team. Now we had that horrible loss at Pachuca, and you can start to see the wheels turning. I mean, you can start to see the wheels turn against
because
Chicago when
Union were
they
like barely winning those games that they did, like they
or
were
getting
barely,
points.
yeah, they were just staying afloat, to be honest.
Austin again, just staying afloat. Portland, you get a win down, backs against the wall, but you're just like, okay, this is not good. And then you have that win, Portland, have that win against Minnesota, have that win at Nashville, and you think, okay, here we go. Draw on the road to Atlanta. All right, that's
And
fine.
then the bye from hell, because the wheels fell off after that bye.
Yeah, that Real Salt Lake. Then you had that rain. Then you had that loss to Seattle.
It was the opposite of the bye week that the Eagles had this
Yeah,
time.
and then DC.
Yeah.
You blow lead against Orlando. You lose to NYCFC. Then
Yep.
you got hope again.
Yeah.
Again,
False hope.
yeah, false hope. You get a point. You win at New England.
Hmm.
And then you get a point, and then you kind of get a whole bunch of points, and the summer hits, and you're thinking, okay, here we go. And
The Leagues Cup run like gave you that false hope.
well, not only that, the from Toronto, Montreal, we lose
Yeah.
to Montreal, lose to Miami, lose to Cincinnati,
Hmm.
get beat by Charlotte, get beat at Montreal, lose that heartbreaker in Chicago. Then you come back at home and you draw against Red Bull, go Toronto, get beat, and then again, here come the false hope again. Up, win against New England, win against Nashville. They make that nice run. You think they got the momentum back, and then towards the end, they go get a PK draw win against Mazatlan, lose to Columbus, and then lose to Colorado, and they come home. They just stutter. They have that win against Red Bull, like you said. They beat NYCFC and beat DC, and you're thinking, okay. But the problem was they drew Atlanta,
Hmm.
and that's really what killed them right there. That draw against Atlanta killed them because then they lose those last three games, and yeah, ends up with an own goal. So my thing is, yes, they just weren't good enough on the season. Too many games where they lost points. What was it? 27 points dropped. I mean, right
Yeah.
there, you take those 27 points, you know, let's take 20 points. I don't even know. Todd asked me this, what do you think? How many points would they drop with Andre? I still say they get 8 or 9 points,
I
but
think with Andre, they at least like sneak into the playoffs.
they probably sneak
And
into
then
the
who
play.
knows? Once you get into the playoffs, hey,
I
you
don't think
saw
they
what
do anything.
I don't think they do either, but at least hey, it's a chance. But
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, those were our predictions. I
mhm,
was way off, so I guess what do I know? Um, and when we look at, my predictions for Leagues Cup, I said round six. I said I projected the Union finish 11th overall, so they finished 23rd. In Eastern Conference, finished them sixth. They finished 12th. Leagues Cup, I was actually kind of ahead of. I said
mhm.
they get eliminated in round 16. They finished fourth. Missed the playoffs. Said they make it to conference
Yeah, they
semis.
do all that. They get so close, and then they just miss getting
I
the
was
CCC
right at
berth.
CC. I said round 16, but
Mhm.
as for goals, these are goals I projected Gazdag with 13, Ua with 10, and Carranza with 8, with the apostrophe that he would get sold. Now, these are only leagues goals. I
Mhm.
didn't do Leagues Cup and CCC.
Mhm.
Gazdag finished with 17, Ua with 10, Baribo with 9. Who saw that coming?
Mhm.
Big one for me is Sullivan McGlynn.
Yeah.
You see those three. So again, Ua now has 10 goals overall in 3 seasons. Gazdag continues to be a goal scorer, all-time goal scorer now. And, Baribo had his season. And then you look at assists. Now this is hockey assists, but
Mhm.
again, Wagner, Gazdag, and Ua. Those are the numbers they kind of hit last year, 6, 6, and 4. Wagner with 13, Sullivan with 11, McGlynn with 7, Ua with 6. I mean, Ua was probably that's his career assist record for
Yeah.
him. I think
Yeah.
he's only ever had 4, but
I thought he had a good season.
he was fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Wagner again was probably one of the best creators, but Sullivan with 11
Yeah.
was surprising.
Mhm.
And that's where I get to, the three most improved. I thought Sullivan on the season,
Oh,
probably he was
Quinn had a fantastic season. He really upped his game.
no, I mean I think that was great to see him take the elevation. I thought second was Jack McGlynn.
Yeah.
I thought Jack wasn't as consistent, but I thought at times he had probably more impactful games.
And I'm in my very biased opinion, he had goal of the year.
Yes. Um, So yeah, and then Nate Harrell, but I'd almost put sometimes Leon Flock in there
Hmm.
because I thought Leon had a great season as well
Yeah.
defensively. I thought Harrell was good, but you could also make the argument Kai kind of had another outstanding season.
I thought Kai was one of the best on the season. He was the most consistent player, I think. He really had a consistent high level of play.
Yeah, I mean, again, you could argue that third one. I'd love to hear what you guys all think your three most improved players were this year. For me, I would say Kyle in the season was probably your best player.
Hmm.
Outside of maybe, I mean, I think Kai was probably the best player on the team. I mean, for what he did,
That's what I think.
but that might be a hot take. And then most clean sheets, I had Blake at 8. Blake finished with 4, considering
Well, he missed half the season, so.
so 7 with 3, Rick with 1. I mean, at the end of the day, that's where it was. I mean,
Hmm.
was not the greatest year for my
Nope.
predictions, but we got some things right, we got some things wrong. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so again, I think one of the biggest storylines was the fact that Andre missed so much of the season, so that really threw a lot of things off. But for me, I thought Kai was the most consistently strong player. I thought really Kai and Ty and Quinn were like my standout stars of the season.
I mean, you could say that about Ty too, coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, once he finally got a chance.
So no, I think we'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. What was your highs and lows on the season? But yeah. Um funny story, when I went back and looked at my predictions for the conferences who made the playoffs.
Hmm.
I had the Union New England making the playoffs. They both missed. And then in
Hmm.
the West I had who did I have? I had Dallas, and I'm gonna check here real quick. I had Dallas and Sporting KC making the playoffs, sneaking in. So neither of them made it, but everything else was pretty accurate in terms of
Hmm.
standings. I think I had Miami pretty low, but
Hmm.
anyway, MLS Cup this weekend. We
Yep.
heard about Ricky Puig is out.
What a shame. I
What a
mean,
shame. What a beautiful assist, though.
yeah, like he was playing that second half, like with a
That's-
torn ACL,
I
like
mean, that's
what?
hard. That's a dog
I
in there.
mean, yeah, I mean, honestly, it really just sucks for, not only just LA, but like, just for the sport, because honestly, he's kind of fun to watch. Like
He is.
he's, a young star and he's like, their star player. So it stinks for them, but of course you just gotta have that next man up mentality. And but yeah, you just hate to see that happen, like going into the MLS Cup. Um, so
Hey,
yeah.
showdown of two Union backup goalkeepers in
Yeah, how about
Carlos
that?
Cornell and our
John McCarthy,
and John
Lord
McCarthy.
Helmet.
Oh my gosh, I was about to say you interrupted me there. No,
Sorry.
it's all
Great
good.
minds think alike. Yep.
It is, but no. John McCarthy going for a second MLS Cup. I mean,
I mean, good on
kudos
him.
for him. I
Yeah.
mean, go for it, dude. And Corey Burke might be able to get a cup before Andre Blake. How crazy is that? I mean,
Yeah.
hey, these are times we're in now, but hey, it'll be a fun matchup. I'm curious to see Red Bull again. Emil
Hmm.
Forsberg's been the game changer. Now he's healthy for them.
Hmm.
I think that was a missing piece, and again, it goes back to look, you can have the Red Bull's mob, but you still need a star piece, somebody that's a game changer that can do that to you. So
Hmm.
it'll be interesting to see. I still will give the edge to LA.
Hmm.
I still think LA, but I mean, credit to Red Bull. They are
Hmm.
fighting tooth and nail.
Yeah. I mean, we don't like Red Bull, but they they've been exciting to watch. So, no.
We'll find out.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's all for this week. But we will be back later this week. We're gonna have a special guest on. Probably be recording on Tuesday. So somebody that a lot of you people know who he is. I'll just leave it at that. But and he's been on some podcasts before as well. So we'll have him on. And then We got season 3 of What If in the works, and we got some
Yeah.
articles coming out and some fun stuff.
Yeah, we have content coming your way even with the off season. Of course, you know, we'll see what happens with the coaching situation and any signings and everything.
Yeah,
So,
if we get anything, we'll be back to cover that as well. But until next time, this has been an episode for all the one team we agree on.
yeah, make sure to like and subscribe and follow us on our various social medias. Leave us comments. We love hearing from you. And yeah, give us your thoughts on the things that we brought up. We would love to hear from you.
Absolutely. And until next time, I'm Kyle.
I'm Jillian.
We'll see you at the game.